So height is basically determined 80% by genes. You cannot really influence it that much, but there are some things that will kill your potential. And I'm here to talk about it. I killed my potential and I have recently been studying it a lot, not particularly for the height cause, but actually the overall biology and how everything works. And I can tell you that there are 4 mistakes I've made, and if you can improve them, you can make sure that you'll grow as much as your genes allow you to. Nothing I'm going to say here is rocket science. It's basically, you heard this a lot of times, but I'm here to stress the importance of doing those things as a person who didn't do it and who now understand how important these things are. So just listen to me, simple things. I'll explain a little bit more why certain behaviors will ruin your height, and that's it. You can get to the actionable steps and grow. I don't know what else to tell you. It may be too late for me to grow, but why won't you? So number 1, undereating. So let me tell you my story. I was a skinny kid throughout my whole life, only recently bulked up. And what I've noticed is that there's a lot of skinny people who actually, or should I say otherwise, there are a lot of more fatter people who grow more. There's a lot of dudes who are like 2 meters, 6'5", and they're fat, and they're still fat with that height. So that leaves me some conclusions that food is actually, and nutrition is actually really important. You gotta get your vitamins, everything, and you're gonna do that through eating food, as well as being in a calorie surplus, because you need energy to grow. And if you don't eat, you won't have energy. So I think it's pretty like self-explanatory and it makes a lot of sense. But my parents were telling me to eat, not stressing the importance too much, and I feel like I lost a few inches of my height partly because of that. It wasn't the only thing, but it influenced it in some type of way. So people say and people speculate online. I've read some posts that actually undereating doesn't influence it at all. But I'll tell you 2 stories that I read from 2 people, and it's gonna make a lot more sense. Studies haven't been able to prove it 100%, but I'll tell you 2 stories and you can decide for yourself if you believe that undereating is good or bad for you. I heard 2 stories. One of them was a Thai dude. He was from Thailand, and you know that average height there is shorter than the average world height, so they're genetically shorter. It happens on average. But there was a Thai guy who grew up to 6 feet tall because he was living his whole life in Iceland. He was born in Thailand, moved there 1 year later or 2 years later, and he grew a lot taller than an average Thai guy. So what does that tell you? Basically, food does influence height. If you're not eating enough, if you're not putting enough energy into your body, you're not gonna grow as much as you can. I won't say you won't grow at all, because I grew up to be a little bit above average world height, but I could have gone a little bit higher in height because my father is a few inches taller than me. And guess what? He was fatter than me while he was growing up. So he had enough energy and calories to use in order to grow completely. So I'd say that's the case. There was another guy on the internet I read the story about on Reddit. The guy was basically speaking his story as if he's proving that undereating doesn't influence your height. But he actually, if you ask me, he actually has proven that it does influence. I think he was 16 at one point. He was 5'8", 16, pretty skinny. And then 2 years later, he grew only 2 inches. And his story was that, oh yeah, I grew without eating. Yeah, I was super skinny. Man, you grew 2 inches. What the hell was that? For 2 years, 2 inches, you could have grown, man. You could have grown like 5-6 inches, especially like in those years. It's when a growth spurt usually appears. So the guy was basically telling us that you can grow without too much food or surplus in food, but I'd say he didn't grow as much as he could. So number one thing, eat well. It's better to be a little bit fatter than super skinny. Number two, not sleeping well. I cannot stress the importance of sleep as a sleep expert myself. I already have a video on my channel, so you can check it out if you want to improve your sleep. But I'm gonna tell you how it influenced me and actually how it works. So basically, the biggest amount of growth hormone gets released in your body, and it basically repairs your tissues and everything, as well as pushes you to grow when you're actually in your teenage years and your growth plates haven't been closed, so you can grow more. Most of the growth hormone gets released throughout the night when you sleep. So if you're deprived of, I think REM sleep is the exact phase where it happens, then you're not gonna grow as much as possible. You're not gonna grow to your full potential, right? So my story was, it's especially crucial to sleep between 15 and 18 years of 15 and 18 between. And I was in high school, pretty tough high school. I had a lot of study, a lot of work, stress, whatever. Basically, I was compromising my sleep. I could have slept well, but I didn't want to sacrifice video games and stuff, because when I'm done with work, when I'm done with school, then I'm gonna play video games, sleeping 2 hours later than when I should, and then not sleep well exactly, and sleep like 6 hours. Basically, really bad sleep schedule. I wouldn't encourage you to try anything like that or do anything like that. But I guess it's hard in those years. But the earlier you become aware of these facts and how you can stunt your growth, believe me, I think you would sleep well, because everybody wants to grow. You want to grow, I want to grow, but the thing is, we all have our gene potentials when it comes to height. So the only way you can grow is basically to follow these steps, and the second one is sleeping. You need to sleep. So parents stress the importance of sleep, but they don't stress it enough, and they don't follow the rules themselves. They're gonna tell you that you're gonna fall asleep and you're supposed to go to bed at 9-10 p.m. and they go to bed at 2 a.m. What the hell? Why would I listen to them? Because they're not practicing what they preach. So usually kids don't like to listen to parents, but you should listen to your parents, because they know the thing. They know that the body heals and grows while you're asleep. So you should extremely focus on that. And I wish somebody told me that 3-4 years ago, when I was constantly being at parties at like 2 a.m. It was happening like 2 days every week, and it was too much. And then it's not only the problem that you're 2 days off with your sleep, but then it ruins your sleep schedule completely. So it ruins your life altogether. So sleeping 7 to 9 hours is recommended, and sleeping, not just being in bed, because people mistake that. People think that being in bed for 9 hours is sleeping 9 hours. No, you wake up throughout the night. Maybe even though you don't remember it in the morning, you wake up, you need some time to get back, like 5-10 minutes, and maybe you wake up consciously to go to the toilet. So you need to account for everything, and you need to leave a little bit more space for the bedtime in order to have a good 7 to 9 hours sleep. And when it comes to growing and your teenage years, you should even up that number to 8 to 10 hours, because that's when you wanna completely focus on that, and you need more sleep. The younger you are, you need more sleep. Basically, the older you are, you can somehow get through the day with less sleep, but it's always recommended for adults 7 to 9, and for teenagers 8 to 10. So keep that in mind. As I've said previously, if you want to improve your sleep completely, I have a complete expert guide on my channel, and you can check it out. I'll leave that link in the description. And I think it will really help you, because those are some advice that you haven't heard anywhere else. I mean, I've tried so many things to fix my sleep, and these unconventional ways that nobody talks about actually work. It's all in biology, so it's based on science and everything. So check it out, and I guarantee you, like, in 1 week you're gonna sleep really well. You don't even know what type of sleep that is. Number 3, not having a good posture. This will not help you grow in itself, but it's really important and vital for you, because when you're growing, you want to keep your spine as straight as possible to ensure you're gonna grow well. And If you don't, get some back problems, spine pain, those type of things. So it's really important to stand straight up. And even if you stop growing, I think you can add 1 to 2 inches on your height. It's not adding, it's actually just revealing your real height. Because most people are slouched and they're sitting like this and everything, and they're looking at their phones all day. So when they're standing, they're actually slouched too. So I think you should practice good posture whether you're growing or not. So to improve posture, there are lots of videos on YouTube. Most of them are BS, to be honest. I tried those things where you keep 2 hands in between 2 walls or push your chin and everything, but it just didn't work. It's just like forcing yourself to do something that you do not understand, if I would say so. And once you understand that actually good posture comes from the neck, then it gets much easier, because when you practice your neck, when you stretch out your neck on a daily basis, it's just actually naturally like straight up, and you cannot push your shoulders. You just actually naturally stand behind where it's supposed to be. So that's how we do it. I have a good tutorial, you can watch it. 3-minute exercises on a daily basis and you'll be good to go. Practice good posture, whatever the case it is, because when you get older, you may be one of those slouched people who can't really get back. Even if they're stretched, it's too painful for them and they're just always slouched forward extremely. Like it comes to extreme measures. You've probably seen those people. So you don't want to be them, and please practice your posture on a daily basis. Number 4, being stressed. I have saved the best thing for last. I actually think it may be the biggest mistake I've made while I was growing up. Basically, I'll tell you the science behind it. It has been shown through many studies that cortisol, the stress hormone, cortisol and adrenaline, actually inhibit the production of growth hormone as well as the effectiveness of the existing one. So we all know stress is bad. Everybody talks about it. Even though when you become more aware of that stress is bad, you're maybe sometimes even more stressed because you're stressed and you know that's bad for you, and then you're even more stressed. It's just a never-ending cycle. So I wouldn't say like to stress too much about your stress, but I'm gonna tell you 3 techniques that I've used and that I practice basically every day, and it helped me deal with stress lately, and it really works. And I wish I had known that while I was still growing to improve my high potential, but it is what it is. So first one is controlling your breathing. What you need to understand is that having a longer exhale than your inhale when you're breathing actually lowers your blood pressure and the number of beats per minute when it comes to your heart. So that means you'll be using something that is called physiological sigh, and it has actually been proven that 5 minutes a day of that, where I'm going to show you the technique, will actually lower your stress and base levels of stress throughout the day, and you're going to be even more prepared to deal with stressful situations when it comes to it throughout the day. So what is that? I'll tell you. So basically it looks like this. First, long inhale. When you get to the top, then you want to squeeze that one little tiny inhale, so the second one after the long one. And what that's gonna do is gonna open up your lungs more and alveoli in your lungs, which means you're gonna get out the excess CO2 that is in your system, and that relieves stress by itself. The balance between CO2 and O2 is great for not having stress. When it's balanced, when it's well balanced, it's really hard to feel stressed. So what they say, practice that, and 5 minutes a day of that is gonna fix your life. You wanna combine that with a meditation on a daily basis. And what I do is actually do them at the same time. So I'm meditating, I close my eyes, get in my position, and I breathe doing physiological sighs. So it's actually amazing that you can combine those two. I'm really focusing on the breath, which is the part of meditation. You're actually breathing like you're supposed to reduce stress and the base level of stress throughout the day. So how does meditation work? Why would you meditate? It's basically you gain awareness of your thoughts. That's really important, because when you get stressed throughout the day, let's say I'm outside and something really stressful happens, I could panic and I could increase my blood pressure, everything, adrenaline gets rushed into my blood system and everything. But what I do, I actually become aware that stress is coming in, and I then consciously do physiological exercise at that exact moment. Let's say I'm outside and I find out that my concert I was supposed to go today, that my tickets are not working, actually not legal or whatever. I go there, they do not accept them, and what I do is actually be aware, okay, this is a stressful situation, I'm gonna breathe, and then I do this. Double inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, slowly. Have the longer exhale than inhale. Good to go. You're gonna be amazing, you're gonna feel amazing, and when stressful situations come, which you're gonna feel a lot less stress like by itself, but you can even lower it more by being aware that the stress is coming and you can just kill it. The third thing is getting good sleep. Wow, it always goes back to this, because sleeping is actually going to balance all the hormones in your body and make it like it's supposed to be. So meaning you're not gonna have any aches, if I would call it that, aches in your body. When you're hungry, it's actually a hormone that tells you to be hungry, to feel that hunger, that feeling we all know. When you're thirsty, same thing. When you're satiated, same thing. It's not different with sleep. When you sleep, you actually balance all of those hormones and you live overall a better life, which will lead you to less stress, which will reflect on your height. When the hormones are balanced, basically the body is gonna get to that potential, get to that max potential, because it can. It has the nourishing, it has everything. So why wouldn't it? The only way to kill the height, if I would say, is to create imbalances in your body. And with all these things I've mentioned today, yeah, you're creating imbalances. So if you follow these 4, I think you're gonna be good to go. You're gonna grow more. So I hope with this video it was helpful. Everything related to health is actually always having nutrition, sleep, light, exercise, relationships. When it comes to life, you only need these 5 things, and if you engage in all of them on a regular basis, at least a bit, you're gonna be well balanced and really prepared for what's out there in life, and you're gonna dominate life in whatever aspect, whether it be sport, work, having good relationships. You're gonna have everything. You're gonna be a happy person, and that's what we all want, isn't it? That's it. I wish you the best, and I wish you grow.